Hey, sis. Welcome back to Girl Wake Up the podcast. I'm your host, Shalera Wells, and this is episode 7. We done made it to episode 7, and it's called If the Shoe Fits. Now, let me tell you something. Every time it's time for me to either record or post the podcast, it's always something. Either it's my voice going out on me, and I've never had those issues before, or it's some type of technical difficulty with it not posting or uploading. Even if I do it days ahead and I schedule it, it's always something. But guess what? Nevertheless, she persisted. I'm not going to let anything stop me from walking in my purpose, walking in my calling. And I'm just so grateful that you guys even want to hear me. That's just a big deal to me because people ears are important. You know, what you hear is very important. So for me to be a trusted voice, I'm just forever grateful for that. I know I say that all the time. I thank you guys all the time. It's because I'm grateful and I'm humbled by it. Really, really, really. So today's message, because y'all know I could keep going. Today's message is one I've been holding on close to because I feel like we're in such a space that we need it. Now, my good girlfriend Javacia had a prayer brunch, which was amazing. I wish it lasted longer. We needed that. Like, we needed to be laid out on the floor, okay? All the speakers were amazing. And I had the task of speaking as well. And I spoke on my girl Esther, but in a different kind of light. So I'm going to bring a different revelation to the podcast than I did at the event because Esther, the book of Esther, is so jam packed with so many gems. You will find something in there each time that's just like, oh, okay, I see. But I feel like this thing right here that I'm going to touch on is a place that a lot of us are in right now and we just need to hear it. It's a revelation that I've gotten a long time ago concerning Esther's story, but God, of course, always multiplies and adds more to the wisdom and knowledge and understanding you have of something. So I don't know if you like me, but I've always loved fairy tales. As a little girl, I used to picture myself as a princess, waiting on a knight in shining armor to come rescue me. I was dead serious about it, and I think it's Disney fault because we had Snow White, we had Soap Belle. You know, I'm thinking I gotta kiss a beast for him to turn into a prince, and I gotta break his curse. You know, Disney had us all messed up. But here's the truth: what I've learned is that sometimes you have to be the knight in shining on me yourself. You know, sometimes you have to wear the crown and the glass slipper because nobody's coming to rescue you. But what if I told you that God is using you to save others? And I know you're like, girl, but I just want to kiss a frog and live in a mansion. Mm, no, you're the knight in shining armor, sis. So today, we're going to walk through Esther. She didn't get her breakthrough through magic or kissing a frog or a knight in shining armor, fairy dust. She didn't have a fairy godmother. But what she did have was fasting, courage, and wisdom. So that's why this one is called If the Shoe Fits. So before I dive into it, y'all know we have to pray. And let me tell you something. My friends have been clowning me about how I pray. But I'm trying to pray calmly because if you really catch me in real prayer mode, I don't know if Spotify and YouTube gonna want me up here talking in tongues and casting out demons, okay? So y'all gonna get this cute prayer. I'm not y'all can laugh if y'all want, but I'm gonna pray cute and sweet and then catch me outside and then we could tear hell down. We could tear hell down, okay? So bow your head. If you're driving, don't bow your head. But let's pray, girl. God, thank you for today. Thank you for every listener you brought to this moment. I pray that your word will come alive in us and through us. Remind us that you have given us what we need to win, that we don't have to force it. We just have to use strategy. We have to use the strategy that you placed in our hands. Teach us, God, how to pause, how to pray, and how to walk in wisdom when everything around us wants us to panic. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, so let's dive in. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole book of Esther because Esther have her own book. You hear me? Not too many women have their own book in the Bible. Esther has her own book, and it's pretty lengthy, but it's so good. Like I always say, even in the previous podcast episodes, that the Bible is literally better than any episodes you could watch. Like anything you watching on Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hulu, the Bible has the tea. It's always some drama in here. And there's always somebody who have to figure something out. That's what I love about it, because we go through so much, and these characters in the Bible, they are like mirrors. You know what I mean? So I'm only gonna do a section of it, and you can go back and read Esther later. I would love for you to go back and do that. I think you're going to find so many gems in there that I'm probably not even going to hit on today. I'm just doing a fast breakdown just to get you through the week, to let you know I hear you, God hear you, and we coming with this word. Okay, so I'm coming from Esther chapter 4, verses 13 through 16. And it says, "Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. But you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come into your royal position for such a time as this?" Then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai: "Go gather together all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it's against the law. If I perish, I perish." Okay, now let me set the scene for you. For those of you who haven't read the book of Esther, I don't want you to think that I think that y'all all are Bible readers just yet. I'm hoping to get you to, if you're not there already. I want you to love it just how I do. But if you haven't, I'm going to tell you about my good girlfriend, Esther. And then I want you to go back and read it, girl. Get the Bible app. Let it read it to you. It don't matter. But let me set the scene. So Esther, if you don't know my girl Esther, she was an orphan. And she was raised by her cousin Mordecai, the one who wrote her the letter. She didn't grow up with influence. She didn't have wealth or position. But when Queen Vashti was removed, King Xerxes began to search for a new queen. After 12 months of preparation, she had to go through preparation. She had to do 6 months of oil and then 6 months of perfume. And then she found favor with the king. And they gave her the crown. That's the one out of everybody. After she went through that preparation, she became the queen. But my good girlfriend Esther learned quickly that her crown wasn't for comfort, but it was for her calling. Because just when she was settling into the palace, an enemy rose up through a man named Haman. And Haman was just like angry and full of pride. He hated the Jews, and he definitely could not stand Mordecai, Esther's cousin that raised her. He couldn't stand him. And he couldn't stand him because Mordecai refused to bow down to him. So Haman, having such close access to King Xerxes, he convinced him to sign a decree to kill all the Jews. Now, I thought that was very petty of him, because you telling me because somebody don't want to bow down to you that you want to kill everybody. That was a bit extreme, but hey, I guess back in the days, they were a little low on tolerance because King Xerxes threw his queen away, threw Vashti away because she didn't want to go to a party. Now, I'm not about to condone no disobedience because y'all know I said I'm still trying to get there. But I'm like, dang, the men in the Bible back in the day, they had a very low tolerance for foolishness because he kicked her out because she didn't want to come to a party. And now here we got Haman over here. He's upset that Mordecai didn't want to bow down to him. So now he wanted all the Jews dead. So think of that, like now the weight of the entire nation sat on Esther's shoulders. And now her cousin Mordecai, he's urging her to speak up. But Esther was afraid. And I get why she was afraid because going to the king without being summoned was a death sentence. You couldn't just, even though she was the queen, you couldn't just walk up in there and go talk to the king. And that's when Mordecai had to remind her, like, you're not here by accident. Who knows if you've come to this kingdom for such a time as this? And so that's when I want to get to us. I want to get to us at that part right there because that's exactly how the enemy works. Whenever challenges rise up, our first tactic is to push into panic. He wants us to react without thinking. He wants us to question our decisions, to move off of fear. He don't want us to use wisdom at all. And he wants us to rush instead of strategize. But Esther shows up in another way. That's what I love about her. She was panicking at first, but she didn't react to it. She called a fast. 3 days, no food, no water. And that was her move. That was her strategy. And then this the good part, y'all. This is what I love about the strategy she used. Because after the fast, Esther still didn't go to the king like in desperation. She didn't go to him and say, please don't kill my people. Please don't do this. Because first of all, King Xerxes wasn't even supposed to know that she was a Jew. He didn't even know this. You see what I'm saying? Because Mordecai had already laced her up at the beginning and he told her, don't say where you come from. Don't talk about it. So what she did was she invited him and Haman to a feast. All right? And then she invited them to another feast. Why? Because fasting didn't just give her boldness. That's not all the fasting did. It gave her wisdom and it gave her timing. You see, at the first feast, she still kept silent. She didn't mention to the king that she needed his help to not kill the Jews, to take the decree away. She didn't say that. She didn't say anything to him. She waited. Because sometimes fasting don't give you a green light immediately. It teaches you patience. It tells you when to move and when to hold back. And by the time the second feast came, the king's heart was open. And Haman was exposed, y'all. His pride was exposed. And the trap flipped back on him, and he was the one who built it. He wanted to hang Mordecai. And let me tell you something, Haman became the hangman. Now, I ain't laughing at nobody getting hung, but that's what he wanted to do. And it backfired on him. Now, enough about Haman, because we focusing on my girl Esther. And why I chose this topic was because Esther is a real queen, not the ones we see on Disney. And like I said in the beginning, I've always loved fairy tales too. Like I used to picture myself as the princess waiting for a rescuer. But life has really taught me that sometimes you are the rescuer. Sometimes you are the knight in shining armor. Like I said in the beginning, with the crown on your head and glass slippers on your feet with your armor on. You know what I mean? But this what got me though. This is something that's not in the book of Esther, but just a little more of a background story of why a lot of us have to be the rescuer? Let me let you in on that. The reason Esther had to fight Haman was because generations earlier, King Saul, whose Esther is a descendant of King Saul, by the way, he did not obey God. So I'm coming from 1 Samuel 15. You can go read it later, but that's where you could find it at, where God tells King Saul to destroy the king and his whole crew, the Amalekites. He wanted them gone. They were supposed to be destroyed completely, but he disobeyed. He spared what he should have killed. He killed everybody except the king. And I think he left them with some good cattle and um plants and stuff. He didn't kill him and he kept him, let him keep his best things. Why would you not kill him? Because now here we go, generations later, Esther is standing in the palace having to deal with what Saul left unfinished. And that's a whole word by itself. Here this little girl is in the palace, never been there before, had to learn, had to go through all this preparation, had to do all of these different things. And soon as that crown hit her head, she had to go battle a generational demon that her forefather was supposed to take care of. And the crazy thing is that some of us are fighting things that our forefathers didn't kill. Cycles that they should have ended and it got passed down to us. Poverty, addiction, torment, abuse, so many things, brokenness that we've never confronted. But this is what I love about Esther, because this is the good news right here. Where Saul failed, Esther stood. And where your mama and your daddy and your grandparents may have struggled, God raised you up to finish it. And I know what that feels like. I've been in that season to where I never heard God, because God is not even mentioned now one time in the book of Esther. No angel, no dream is never mentioned. Other characters in the Bible, they had a dream. God came talk to them. They had a prophet. Shoot, Moses, he had direct one-on-one with God. He was talking to the bush. And he was going to meet God up in the mountains. So much so to where he had to wear a veil over his face because you could see the reflection of God on him. I want to be like that when I grow up, though. But I'm just saying, she didn't have that. She didn't have no word of the Lord, just silence, you know? And it's in those moments that the enemy try to make us panic, to question our decisions, to react with fear instead of wisdom. But I remember what God gave me last time. I remember the victory that God gave me last time. I remember the strategy he gave me the last time. For Esther, it was fasting. But for little old me, it's gonna always be writing. Don't get me wrong. Fasting is my go-to. I love a good fast. I think if you feel like unctioned to fast, do it. If God is telling you to do it, do it. Even if it's from social media, it might not be food. You may need a break from the timelines. You may need a break from certain conversations. You just may need a time, a sabbatical, just to be to yourself. And that's okay. But I know what got me victory last time was me writing. So God always talking to me in my bed, because he don't like me there. So that's where he meets me at, okay? And I remember this was a few years ago. I was laying in my bed and God said to me, get up and write yourself out of poverty. And I'm like, huh? I'm not poor. But I know what he meant. He meant that it's a generational wealth that I have locked up for you, but I need your pen to become in agreement with me. That's what I need from you. So my pen became the stone that slayed my Goliaths. I wrote myself into Walmart, into Target, into Amazon, and Books A Million. And now every time I feel stuck are stagnant, I remember that I already beat Goliath with my pen once and I can do it again. And I hear God asking, do you want me to find someone else to do it? Or will you rise to the occasion? Do you want me to raise up somebody else to tackle this thing? So I'm here today to tell you that you don't need a new strategy. You just need to remember who you are and who sent you and how you won the last time. Because the same God who gave you victory before will give you victory again. God already moved Vashti out the way. The position is open. The table already set. The shoe is waiting. Don't let panic make you miss this moment. Because you see, just like Cinderella, I love Cinderella. Oh, that's why I had to compare the two because the prince went through the village with the glass slipper. Everybody else tried to squeeze their feet in that. You remember even the girl with the big feet, the big foot, fat foot, long foots. They tried to put them foots, their feet inside of that slipper. But when it got to her, the shoe slid on effortlessly. And so, sis, I want to say this to you. When it's yours, you won't have to force it. You won't have to fight for it. What's already been assigned to you is coming. The crown was made for you. The seat was made for you. The glass slipper was molded just for your foot. And I know sometimes it doesn't feel that way. Sometimes you're sitting there looking at everybody else get picked. Everybody else is getting chosen. Everybody else is slipping into positions that you thought were meant for you. And you start to wondering, Lord, did you forget about me? Lord, did you overlook me? Did I miss my chance? It's so many times that I felt like I've missed out on opportunities, that I missed out on a chance to make the right decisions. And I felt like, well, I guess it's not my time. Well, maybe it'll spin the block, maybe it won't. Maybe I failed in this area. But hear me. Nothing with your name on it can be stolen. Nothing that was molded for you can fit anybody else. They could try it on. They could squeeze their way into it. They could pretend it's theirs. But when the time comes, it won't fit. It just can't fit. And that's why we can't live in comparison. We can't live in panic. We can't live feeling like you've got to rush or force doors open. Because what God set aside for you is waiting for you, is preserved, is protected, and is promised. So I just want you to take a deep breath and remind yourself that I don't have to force what's mine. I don't have to beg for what was already assigned to me. I don't have to beg for it. And God's hand is on it. God's timing is in it. And when is the right time? It will slide on effortlessly. I know that. I feel that. Fasting was her strategy. But what's yours? What's yours? Think about that for a second. Because I feel like we're in a place to where we just kind of don't know what our next move is. We don't know. We finally got to the palace. We got the crown. We got the glass slipper. But I hate that when trouble comes, we fold. We don't remember who we are, right? And of course, they didn't have phones back in the day. But a lot of times we get on the phone with people and we tell them our problems. But the crazy part is that the solution is already inside of us because it's what got us victory the last time. I don't know if that's dancing for you, if that's singing, if it's worshiping. I don't know. But I know that if you find yourself in a place where you have to tackle, even if it's not generational, but if you have to deal with a cycle, a curse, something that's coming to threaten your position, move you out the way, destroy your inheritance, because that's what happened to Cinderella. That's what was going to happen to Esther, that her whole nation was not going to be able to give favor and glory off of her position. And if you think about Cinderella, that was the same thing. The evil stepmother, the evil stepsisters. It was all about position. They wanted it. Inheritance. They wanted it. But for such a time is this. And I would hate for God to tell me, okay, I'll rise up another. You failed. You didn't do right. So now you and your people perish, but I'll raise up another to do what you were supposed to do. I would hate that. And I'm telling that to you too. Don't let God rise up someone else when you got the juice, when you the one. I remember a few days ago, I was feeling like I don't want to be the one. God send somebody else to do it. But do you realize what we say whenever we say send somebody else to do it? We perish. Yeah. Think about it, sit in it. When we say, I say it all the time, like jokingly, like, and sometimes not joking because the crown can be heavy. The armor could be heavy. Like, just picture that though. Picture a crown with some armor on and some glass slippers. Because you know we going to be a lady. You know we got to be a lady, even in battle. And so imagine yourself trying to fight wars with glass slippers, armor, and a crown that you have to keep on your head. It does get heavy. And so sometimes I'm like, God, send somebody else to do it. I don't want to be the one. Why I got to save everybody? Hey, y'all know I like to get emotional. Don't you cry, Shalera. But why I got to go? Who going to help me? But then I remember that He is my strength. He is my mother. He is my father. Everything I need. He does give me strategy. He does give me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of a thing. And nothing formed against me could ever prosper. It might form, but it ain't got no ammunition. It might look scary, but I know a God who's bigger. You hear what I'm telling you? The curse ends here because it's your time. It's your time. It might have worked before it ran into you. It might have worked before it ran into you. But God is moving things out of the way to put you in position. He's preparing you, pruning you, breaking some things down. Yeah, that's what He's doing. And before we get into the reflection questions, I say this and I speak this over your life that every trap set by Haman will backfire. Oof. Every trap. Every trap. And that what got you victory the last time, that God will remind you of it. and that you would tap in and get the strategy to get you victory for this next season that you're about to walk into. You need it like never before. Like for such a time as this. This is not a time. It's not a time. I know the weight is heavy, but it's worth it. It's really worth it. So let's get into these reflection questions. Question 1: where have I been panicking instead of pausing? Because I like to say I'm just a girl, so I could panic, but nah, we need to pause. And we need to find the areas that we've been panicking in. My children tell me all the time, you're always overstimulated. That's your new word now. But it's just the excuse to panic. You know what I mean? So where have I been panicking instead of pausing? Question 2: what weapon gave me victory the last time that I need to return to? Yeah. When did you see the miraculous happen in your life? What did you do? When you saw something shift that looked impossible, what did you do to get that to happen? Question number 3: am I letting the enemy make me doubt my decisions? Or am I choosing to fast and wait for strategy? Nah, I ain't gonna tell y'all what I journal because it's probably a little bit of both. But we gonna work on that. And question number 4: where has God already cleared space for me, but I did not step in? Because we gotta spin the block before he sends somebody else to do it. Where has God already cleared space for me, but I did not step in? All right, let's close us out with a little prayer. Let's go. Lord, thank you for Esther's story. Thank you for reminding us that we don't fight panic with panic. We fight it with prayer and fasting. Thank you that strategy is released in silence and that you've already moved what needs to be moved. Give us courage, wisdom, and patience. And let us step into the place you've prepared effortlessly, just like a shoe that was made for us. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, sis. That's today's episode of Girl Wake Up. And if this blessed you, go ahead and hit the like button, share it with your sisters, tell a friend about it, because we don't want to keep this word to ourselves. I'm sure you have a good girlfriend who God is moving some things around to put her in position. And she's in that preparation stage. She's getting her crown. And now it seems like all hell done broke loose. So instead of panicking, we need to let her know, like, look, it's time to strategize. What got you victory the last time, girl? What helped you the last time? And if it's something that's generational, I know that you didn't start this, but you have to finish it. It came to your front door and knocked. And that's why I titled it, If the Shoe Fits, Wear It. Because it's like, yeah, when people say that, it's like, yeah, I'm talking about you. And that's what God is saying. I'm talking about you, sis. I am talking about you. I'm talking about you. So if the shoe fit, wear it. I'm talking to that woman who is afraid to step in position. I'm talking to that woman who every time a Goliath rise up, you don't use what's already in your hands. I'm talking to you, girl. So if this shoe fit, wear it. And walk in it. Because God designed it just for you. He did.